Funding for American Prairie has been provided by Bob Ridings Ford, Taylorville, Illinois. Sloan Implement, Verdon, Illinois. Brandt Consolidated, Waverly, Illinois. And from our patrons at patreon.com, who are viewers like you. Thank you.
American Prairie attends the Mustang 50th Anniversary Car Show in Springfield, Illinois. Located in central Illinois and along historic Route 66, Springfield, Illinois is the capital of Illinois and home of President Abraham Lincoln. Springfield is located 101 miles northeast of St. Louis, Missouri, and 201 miles southwest of Chicago, Illinois. See the cars and hear the stories. This and more coming up on American Prairie. Filmed in 2014, the Mustang Club of America hosted many car shows across the United States. This one was held at the Crown Plaza in Springfield, Illinois.
I'm George Valeri. I'm from Worcester, Massachusetts, and I'm a national director for the Mustang Club of America.
Oh, wow.
And what we have here is a Daytona Pace car. Ford produced 50 of them. This is number 31 of 50. They were all supposed to be identical, but unfortunately, or fortunately for Ford, of the 50, there are 48 with a glass roof. There's one convertible, and there's one coupe. They were supposed to have identical options put on the car. Some have high-intensity headlights, some don't. Some have the electronics package, some don't. Most have navigation, and some don't. I got lucky, the luck of the draw. This car has all the options. Under Mustang Club of America rules, your car has to be 2 years old in order for it to be judged. Last year was my first year being judged, and I entered it in 4 shows, got 4 perfect scores. The car only has 27 miles on it.
Oh my.
It's a trailer queen, and it never sees daylight.
Oh my.
In the winter, it sits in the trailer, and the trailer sits inside one of our buildings, so it's covered. So absolutely no dirt gets on the car. And my goal is to get what's called a medallion. This particular car gets a red medallion, and once I get that, it goes into a conservator class, which is a fancy word for retirement. You enter it into 3 shows, and once I get the conservator award, then at that point we have to make a decision. Do we want to go through the process again? Getting a medallion usually takes about 2 to 3 years, because you get 2 points at every national show and 3 points for a first at every Grand National. And you have to achieve 20 points in order to qualify for a medallion. And that's where we are. Right now we have 8 points, and we're working towards the 20. And national shows are held all over the country. This one, we're in Springfield, Illinois. The next one is in Lincoln, Nebraska, and the last one of the year is in Savannah, Georgia. And I plan on being at all 3. Not only do I have my car judged, but I'm the membership director, and I sell memberships, and I may try to sell you guys a membership before we're done.
Okay.
That was great.
Oh, thank you. Never met a camera I didn't like.
So how long have you been director?
I've been a director for 6 years, and I'm actually a candidate for vice president of the club, which we will have elections at the end of the year. Each term is a 2-year term. Under Mustang Club bylaws, you can only serve 2 terms in the present position. Well, the 2 terms are up for all of our executive board, and like I say, I'm a candidate for vice president. And a little bit of luck, a lot of campaigning, I'll be there.
Yeah.
We hope you can make that. And how many judges? How does a show like this work? As far as how many judges on average would there be at a show like this?
Well,
it's a lot of cars. How many cars, first of all?
Probably a lot of different classes too.
Yeah, there are 380 cars. There's about 260 that are going to be judged. As for the number of judges, if they could get 50 judges, that would be good, because you take cars like the conservators and the thoroughbreds and the concourse trailer, that could take up to 8 hours to judge the car, because these guys get underneath the car, and the bolts have to be original, and it's all about originality and cleanliness. My particular car is what's called occasionally driven trailer. So all they're going to look for is cleanliness. They'll open the doors, they'll look inside to see if there's any dirt in there, which they will not find. And they look at the engine compartment, and they'll look into the trunk. And
That's awesome.
our judges are probably the best on any car made in the country, and as a result of that, when our cars get judged and get a medallion, the value increases. I was at Barrett-Jackson 2 years ago, and there was a just drop-dead 65 coupe. It was stalled at $40,000 at the bidding, and the auctioneer said, this is a gold or whatever medallion that particular car got, and he gave a little bit of history, and the hammer came back down, and it picked up another $30,000 for the seller. The car sold for $70,000. So, saying that, MCA makes cars more valuable based on the owner's desire to bring the car to a higher level.
Oh wow.
That's good to know.
Well, the history of the Central Illinois Mustangers, I'm not sure when they were founded, but this is their 3rd national level show. And they get better every time they put one on. And they've always used the same venue here at the Crown Plaza. The parking lot layout is virtually perfect. And of course, the big benefit this weekend is beautiful weather. It's not too hot, it's not too cool. The wind is just a nice, comfortable breeze. So we're enjoying ourselves.
Okay.
How long have you been president of the club, too?
3.5 years. I'm on my 2nd term, where our bylaws allow us to serve 2 consecutive terms. That's the max, and you've got to at least take a break, and you can come back and run again if you want to. But Mustang Club of America was established in 1976, and since we will be 40 years old. The club itself will be 40 years old in 2016. Of course, Mustang just celebrated its 50th anniversary, and the Mustang Club of America hosted 2 mega events. We leased the Charlotte Motor Speedway in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we leased the Las Vegas Motor Speedway in Las Vegas. And between the 2 events over the week of April 16th through April the 20th, we hosted as far as cars, over 6,000 cars between the 2 venues. We had guests from all over the world that came to America to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Mustang. Ford Motor Company played a big part in that too. They had a lot of assets, new cars. They introduced the 2015 Mustang, and just a lot of excitement, a lot of neat things to do and places to go and people to talk to in those events like that. So.
Oh yes, definitely.
It's pretty nifty. You actually do judging yourself, which is really cool.
Right. What we refer to as current year models, which in this case is the 2013 and the 2014 cars, are not really judged by an MCA standard judging sheet where they look at all the details and everything. Those cars, 2013, 2014, are in a category called President's Choice. So I go out and look at the cars, and basically I'm evaluating the cars on cleanliness, condition, and workmanship. And then after 2 years, the car moves into a judged class where they'll be judged with a very detailed judging sheet, looking at components of the engine compartment, the interior, the exterior, the trunk, and all that stuff. So these folks are they're getting into it. They're getting at least a little dose, because my judging sheet's very simple: interior, exterior, and engine compartment. And I just look for cleanliness, condition, and workmanship issues. And and everybody's found out that I'm looking for cleanliness, so they keep them super clean. So, and of course, a new car should be very, very clean anyway. So it kind of makes it makes it tough to try to find something, you know. And I look in certain areas on every car, so I have a consistency factor. Every car gets looked at the same way as I go.
So what's your opinion on guys like doing a lot of customization stuff that may be aftermarket? Or do you
Well, we have 5 what we refer to as modified classes, and those cars are judged not only on cleanliness, condition, workmanship, but they're also judged on the quality of the modifications. And instead of losing points, they earn points for the modifications. And we look at modifications in the engine compartment, the interior, and of course the exterior. And we've grown to 5 different classes in modified now. And you know, in 1964, when the Mustang was introduced, one of Ford's marketing taglines that they used was Mustang, the car to be customized by you. And they had an extremely long list of options that you could order for the car in 1965. And that continues today. People, the aftermarket companies that are in business, and they address strictly aftermarket modifications for the Ford Mustang. And Ford even goes so far that typically when they're going to introduce a new model, they will bring aftermarket manufacturers in advance, give them the specifications for the car so that they can get tooled up, and so when the car hits the showroom, the aftermarket stuff is already available for the enthusiast to buy and put on the car. So, so we all enjoy making our cars unique to us. And you end up with cars that are one-off cars. So that's one of the most exciting things about the hobby. The other best thing about the hobby is not just the cars; it's the friendships and the camaraderie. And you make lifetime friendships. You only see people once a year at a national show, and it's like they're your next door neighbor, you know. And that's one of the most enjoyable and enriching parts about this entire hobby that we have here. So,
Well, this is 1967 GT 500, and it has a 428 cubic inch engine in it with dual 4-barrel carburetors. This car was restored as it was born, and it has original tires on it, it has original hoses, it has original battery. There's absolutely no reproduction parts used anywhere in the car. What makes it truly unique is it's a 4-speed car with factory air conditioning, and they made less than 3 or 4 in this color combination. So that really makes it unique.
I can see. That's very pretty. And what about this one over here?
This is a 1968 Shelby GT 350, and it's a spectacular car. It competes in the concourse trailer division, and some reproduction parts can be used on it, but I'm excited about the show and glad to be a part of it here.
Yes, we're glad you're here too.
Thank you.
1967 coupe, Ford Mustang coupe. Has 200 cubic inch 6-cylinder, 3-speed manual transmission. I've had the car about a year and a half. It was this color when I bought it. It is not the original color. I've put a new motor in it, put a new rear end in it, put a new total front suspension in it. Drives like a dream, and I drive it almost every day.
And we drove it down from Michigan.
Yep, we drove it
Last
from
night.
Michigan.
Wow.
It's a beauty.
He's got another one at home. He's got a 66 at home, but this is the pretty one.
Okay.
Yeah, the 66 I have is in Sahara beige, which was only painted in 66, and it was the least used color in 66. But it's kind of a unique car too.
Okay.
So, you drive this every day.
I try to drive it every day.
Wow.
This is his car.
There's some winter days I don't drive it if I drive my truck, but I drive it a lot. It does not sit still.
That's
It's
great.
too much fun to drive.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
It really is. It's a 3-speed.
3-speed.
Well, actually, it's a 65 Fastback Mustang. It was actually wrecked in about 1969, and it was in a junkyard. And my uncle, Phil Mueller from Trenton, Illinois, he decided to go ahead and get it out of the junkyard, and he was going to restore it. Well, my brother, Kevin, he actually talked my uncle into selling it to him once he had it restored. Well, unfortunately, my brother was killed in 2000 in a car accident. So my uncle called me one day and said, "Hey, you still want this Mustang?" And I'm like, "Absolutely. I want this Mustang more now than ever." So he said, "Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get it restored, and we'll get it to you." So my uncle and I, over the last 3 years, restored this Mustang, and again, it was wrecked, so it had a lot of front-end damage, and it's been fully restored. My uncle always says it's 99% rust-free. Hopefully it is, but it turned out really nice, and I get a lot of compliments. I've taken it to only a couple car shows, and we usually win first place, so that's kind of neat. But
Right.
I love this car, and it's just a great car. I actually was in the Air Force for 4 years growing up, and actually had a 66 coupe that I drove in the Air Force, and that was wrecked, unfortunately. So anyhow, but this car is wonderful. It's got a 289. It's original engine, original transmission, and it's really a nice car. It turned out really nice. My uncle did an awesome job. I actually did some work on it. The funny thing is, I would actually try to clean a lot of the older parts and make them look new. Could never make them look new, so a lot of the parts are newer parts. But again, the engine and transmission's original, and most of the car is actually original. The glass is original. A lot of scratches on the glass, but I'd rather have that original than not. So.
Right.
This is a 2013 Boss 302. They started making the Bosses again in 2012 and 2013, and I purchased this last year, and it's just a phenomenal car that Ford did. They're trying to make a car that is similar in performance and handling to the original ones they made back in the 60s and 70s, and it is something that they put a lot of time and effort into making a car that can really perform on the track and yet still be driven on the street. So, and it's an absolute blast to drive. It handles phenomenally well. The engine makes 444 horsepower. It's a very high revving engine on it. You can shift up to like 6,000, 7,000 RPM on it. So it's a lot of fun to take out and drive.
I bet.
I'm sure it's got a mean growl too.
It does. It's got some side exhaust here. In addition to the rear exhaust, it actually has side exhaust that comes out the side here, which actually gives it a lot more of a rumble and a lot more sound coming out of it.
Yeah, right.
So
It's a 2006 Pony or Mustang, and basically bought it in the fall of 2006, just plain stock, and then in my one-car garage, basically transformed it to what you see now.
Wow. And what size engine do you have?
It's a 4.0, but it's been modified with larger throttle body, chip performance, different ignitions, cold air induction, It's been changed around a little bit.
I see. It looks very nice.
Thank you.
And of course, these doors are obviously not original.
No, there's actually hardly anything left on this car that's original.
Okay, okay.
The doors are original, it's just the hinges are what actually change it to to the Lambo. But these are actually a type of door that you can open normal, or you can open them into the wing fashion.
Right. Boy, that is something.
Scissor style.
Yeah. See, they'll come down and then they'll actually open back and forth, or they'll actually open up into the area.
So is this a daily driver for you?
It's not a daily driver, but it does have 60,000 miles on it. It drives to every show, or drives out on the weekends, or the days that are sunny and clear.
Yeah,
And we have a little shop that I pull it in and put it up on the lift, and we go through it and clean it quite often. You know.
How many hours would you average, or would you say you put into this?
2.5 years, if however you want to go with that. That's how long it took me to build it.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Just like I said, everything in here, I've stripped the seats. I put new cat skin seats on it. It's got a rear seat delete kit in it. All the airbrush work that's been done on it. Every nut and bolt in the engine has come out of it, and I've polished it and cleaned it, or put a different type of bolt inside it. All the wiring's been redone to where it could be chromed or put in the tubing. All the matting and stuff, all the diamond plate, I cut that myself. The interior has a glass front. If you'll look on here, it's all glass.
Oh, wow.
I cut all that with a Dremel tool.
And you say this is also a 911 tribute?
That is correct. That is correct. I started out with the American Remember license plates, and then I remember one of my kids actually asking me what that 911. They don't teach that in school.
Gosh.
So I thought from there I would just start doing more of 911 with it. That way more people would ask questions, and it just got bigger and bigger. And then basically we'll talk to kids or whatever. They come up. They like I let everybody sit in this. Anybody that wants to come over here. Most show cars you can't touch. This one anybody can get in here. To see the smiles on kids' face. Heck, I just had probably a 30-year-old sit in here and just had a thrill sitting inside here. It's what makes car shows fun, you know. Just let them get in. I drive it; they're not going to hurt it any more than I do.
Right.
You know, they actually get in it probably with more respect than I do. You know, I get in and go. Like I said, it's been driven. It's 60,000 miles. Well, it's 58,000 on it right now.
Wow.
And anything else?
No, that was great. That was great. It's a beautiful car, and we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
You bet. You bet. I appreciate you talking to me. You know, I was just telling my brother about. I don't see what a lot of people see because I built it, but to see the kids or the people that come up, they're just jaw dropped, and I just love bringing out for people to look at it. You know, I'll go on display sometimes just to let it be seen, and people just love it.
Right.
You know, and I'm thrilled that they love it because I wanted to see if I could do what I watch on car shows, and this is what I come up with.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a beauty.
Well, thank you very much.
You did a beautiful job with it.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. That was great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. You bet.
Funding for American Prairie has been provided by Bob Ridings Ford, Taylorville, Illinois. Sloan Implement, Verdon, Illinois. Brandt Consolidated, Waverly, Illinois. And from our patrons at patreon.com, who are viewers like you. Thank you.